Good evening, good evening, good evening. Peace and blessings. It's your boy Jay Taylor, Voices for the Voiceless. And I'm back with another video. Yes, indeed, yes, indeed. Man, last night I was just happened to be scrolling on YouTube and came across an explosive video alive. I came across Corey Holcomb, 5150 show. And by surprise, he had a guest by the name of Anton Daniels. Now, Anton Daniels was on the platform, was uh, is a content creator, conservative Republican, Trump supporter. So it was a surprise to see him on Corey Holcomb's show. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be interesting because I follow Anton Daniels. Corey Holcomb is a stand-up comedian from Chicago, uh, and also a content creator. He has his own show, still touring, doing stand up comedy and things like that. But it was just interesting to see these two, you know, guys sitting down having a conversation, and hence the title, because the conversation definitely went left. The title: Anton Daniels versus Corey Holcomb. Politics and ego. Yeah, politics and ego, because it was a lot of both. They were talking about, different things as far as, you know, the current temperature in the country politically is already volatile. It's a lot going on. From my standpoint, I mean, we pretty much had a lawless nation for the past 4 years. When Joe Biden was in office, he wasn't really active. And, you had a lot of stuff going on with, you know, uh, as far as the, the illegal immigration, millions of people that flooded the zone that came in over undocumented, a lot of things on top of that, that really flipped the country into another, almost felt like another country. And then now you have, Trump in office, and he's coming around his first year, January 20th, marks the first year anniversary. And he's the total opposite of what Joe Biden was, trying to get a crackdown on illegal immigration. You got the ICE rate. I mean, it's just insanity, right? We cover a lot of it on this platform for the past year. It's a change since the campaign. So we know the temperature of the company, of the country, rather. And so to see this conversation was just, interesting, because politics and ego, a lot of times, and before I get to Anton and Corey, the and because I get it on my end, it's a lot of ego when people have these conversations, and I'm very active on social media with my opinion. And friends and family have told me, uh, you shouldn't verbalize your political or religious beliefs. You shouldn't vocalize your political or religious beliefs publicly, because that creates enemies, or it raises tension. And I beg to differ. You know what? Ever since I've been verbalizing my opinion politically, it has unveiled a lot of people that I thought were my friend, that I thought was solid, that I thought, was cool, and maybe they, I don't know, maybe it took for that for me to see, what people really stand. I had to really like clean house on my social media platforms, and create boundaries, because people tend to want to get disrespectful just because you disagree with someone politically. People want to come on your on your pages and talk spicy. No, we're gonna cut all that out. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna regulate this thing. So a lot of people gotta go. If you can't respect healthy boundaries, no, I can't deal with that. Now if you voice your opinion respectfully, that's cool. And then, most recently, like just to show like with the ego, I was having a conversation online, um, on another guy's platform and on social media, and we were having a very, it's insightful, intelligent conversation, and someone that I knew for a, f- a few decades, you know what I'm saying, maybe 2 decades, haven't talked to them in a while. You know, I guess they got offended by my opinion. Haven't talked to them. Don't know what's going on with them. But the last time we spoke, we was on great terms. Wanted to go out their way. It's a female to go out their way to express how much they don't f with me and f me, and and all this personal stuff and all these different, this disrespect. So just by vocalizing my politics, my political beliefs, I had several situations where I had to, eliminate people out my circumference. Cause I'm like, okay, well, say less then. Cause see, the thing about it is I'm not gonna stop rocking with you, even if I disagree with your lifestyle, um, if I disagree with your politics. We can agree to disagree respectfully. You know, that's the whole thing about it, man. People, we not, especially black people, we not a monolith. We all don't think alike. Some of us are gonna lean right, some of us are gonna lean left. But the thing is to find that middle ground. So when we do have discourse with each other, when we do, engage in conversation and dialogue, we able to come to the table. You lay your facts out and your beliefs, I lay mine out, and we we sort it out, we work it out, we figure it out. But no, if I ain't never did you nothing, why would you just try to eliminate me or embarrass me on social media, or try to get disrespectful, what I'm saying, due to something that you could have inboxed me about, and I could have told you exactly why I feel the way I feel. But you took that. If I whatever, if our friendship, if our acquaintance doesn't mean enough to you, where you don't have a certain level of respect, where you can't contain your emotions, that you would have to take it that route publicly, then hey, all praises due to the Most High for revealing yourself to me. Because I don't want to be nowhere around nobody that I got to question if they got my back. You know what I'm saying? If they cool or not. Because make no mistake, you know, my mom doesn't agree with me. I don't, particularly agree with her politics. My sister, my son, you know what I'm saying? Me and my son have very, heated conversations about these topics. And we disagree on things. Some things we agree on, some things we disagree. But I'm not gonna stop, loving my people or my family or being friends with somebody, just because I disagree with them. And I think that speaks to uh, the temperature of the country right now, when you have family members and long-term friendships being ruined by their opinion. And a lot of people are scared and afraid to come out and speak their truth, or the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like, it should not be a place where we can't express and have dialogue. When we get to a point where we can't have a conversation, then we too sensitive. We have become desensitized and are too sensitive at the same time. Where you could just, cancel. We in cancel culture, where we gonna try to just forget someone ever existed, or be disrespectful, or anything, just because we have a disagreement. Now, fast forward to the conversation, and I do want to, you know, uh, sit down in the studio and really go through this, because I think that what happened with Anton and Corey Holcomb is a microcosm of what I'm talking about. On a broader scale, what happened with Anton Daniels and Corey Holcomb is what's actually happening in society, mainly the black community, between the difference between conservatives and rather liberals. I don't know if I would, I could, I don't know. I guess I'll put Corey Holcomb in that category as being, a liberal. He says he's an independent. However, the conversation ensued, and they were talking about, race from a political spectrum, but the conversation got disrespectful. So, it boiled down to they talked about slavery, and he was like, "Yeah, what about it?" It was like he was trying to Corey was trying to get Anton to say something about the white man or something like that. Like, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get there, but you know what I'm saying, we talking about our people right now." He's like, "Yeah, you done talked about our people, you done talk about this people, you done talk about that, you didn't even talk about, but you ain't said none of, all you do is kiss the white man, you know what? So I lose respect for you when you can't even call out what the." So he said, "Well, well, you doing all that, but you sucking the black man Johnson, basically." He didn't say that, but you know what I'm saying, right? So it was disrespectful. It was a certain Corey Holcomb crossed a certain line when he was talking about you kissing the white man ass, right? Now that was the first sign of disrespect. Now Anton Daniels met the disrespect. He took it a step not. He took it a notch further and said, "Well, you sucking the black man because you catering to your audience, right?" So that everything else went up in flames after that. Corey Holcomb, "Hey man, I don't suck no D. I don't do this, I don't do that." You know what I'm saying? So now when it went down, Anton Daniels sitting on the left side of the screen. Corey Holcomb, co-host Darlene, is sitting in the middle in between, and Corey himself is sitting to the right. So once Anton said what he said, he told his co-host Darlene, "Watch out, let's switch seats." So now he got to get all up in Anton's face, right? So he like got the mic sitting all in the face. Don't tell me I'll be sucking D and I'll be doing all that, right? So he called up in Anton's face. I'm guessing he expected Anton to cower or back down, but he did not. He right now, "I don't care what the F you talking about. You said something I don't like. So what you all in your feelings? I don't care what, I'm from Detroit." Ooh. Now you got Detroit and the Chicago cat in each other's face on the 5150 show. You know what I'm saying? So that right there, I felt like, it's gone too far. This is when politics and ego clash. Because see, right there, this was an opportunity to have a very in-depth, educational, insightful conversation. You know what I'm saying? For the large audience that he has, both of them have to see. As far as so it's very unfortunate that these two very successful brothers, couldn't come together and have a peaceful conversation. Intelligent dialogue despite all the ego, right? So the ego clashing. They ready to go in the Anton Daniels talk about let's go to the back. Corey Holcomb like, "Nah, say I suck D again." Like you gonna slap him. Ain't nobody want to do nothing, right? Corey Holcomb thought that Anton Daniels was gonna bow down, but he didn't. He stood on his two. You know what I'm saying? So, they had their little back and forth, the whole nine. And they tried to patch it up. Anton apologized. Corey tried to, but Corey couldn't let it go. you know. And I'm trying to understand, like, how can, cause see, how can you get mad at him saying you sucking the black man deep when you just said you kissing the white man? Hey, now people could say, well, that's definitely, but no, you can't slap somebody and and look crazy when they turn around and knock you out. They ain't got to slap you back. They can take it a step further. They can pull out a weapon and stab you. Even, some people, they might pow pow. You know what I'm saying? So when you disrespect somebody just because you can't control or contain your emotions and you don't have your ego in check, you know what I'm saying? And then you dish it out and you can't take it back. And then when it go left, now you gotta when you get up in another man's face, at that point, you gotta do something. It ain't on that man, because you done move this lady out the way, got this man's face, and you ain't do nothing. So after that, Anton he took control of the interview, if you ask me. He was calling him out on yo, Leah, you saw about you stand on business, but you scared of Dave Chappelle. Oh yeah, why you say that, man? You said you ain't really feeling his last stand-up comedy show, but you held back on how you really feel because you don't want that smoke with Dave. And Corey said, yeah, you right, I did. It was like situations like that until it got to a point where they got back it got back heated again. And then next thing you know, he like, man, I disrespect to your face. And then he like, oh, well, yeah, you did, you see, that's when it get dangerous. Corey Holcomb talk about it's getting dangerous. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, man, stop all the tough talk. You putting on for the cameras. Because see, and then you got people in the chat. And see, that's another thing with social media and ego. A lot of times, people that's egging on the confrontation don't help either. So you got to check that as well. Like people that egg on, especially we grown. These people, these brothers, 50, 45, 55 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like, what about the young people that are paying attention? This is a prime example to set the example and set the precedence. So we got to have, better representation. Because, man, Corey Holcomb, man, he really looked it bad. And I rock with Corey. I like Corey. You know what I'm saying? But he looked it bad, man. Because when the man was, when he was calling that time all type of bees. Oh, and then like, oh yeah, that girl, that bee you got with you, like that man got a wife, bro. How his wife? You putting all this business out there, like now people. He like, but the whole time that's supposed to be, his employee, and you putting out the man. It's just the simple fact that you a man and you just broke man code. You broke man law, putting out that man business. You don't know what his relationship with is at home with whoever he's at home with, to, verbalize that publicly. That was a cake move right there. That was super, like, bro, you that mad over something that you created. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. I was like, no, don't do that. You make it all to call that man all the bees. So Anton got up and left. Missed opportunity to have a constructive conversation that I felt like the crowd could benefit from. And you had a lot of people in the chat that was telling Corey, that was his supporters, like, man, you tripping, bro. You tripping, bro. Like, man, get off that. You have, some people that was egging it on, but you had a lot of people that was, not with that. But be that as it may, that was a quick little breakdown of that between Anton and Corey Holcomb. Difference of opinion went left, but it just shows you the difference because, Anton didn't come on no tough talk. As a conservative man, he came in there with facts. Actually, when he was speaking, he was dropping gems and knowledge. And, it seemed like Corey on the liberal side just full of emotion. Just like that young lady, man, that spazzed out, who wasn't nobody even talking to, and spazzed out at me just because she disagreed with my position politically. You know what I'm saying? And I thank God for the spirit of discernment and transparency with people. So I feel like, yeah, when things like that happen, that's further confirmation that I'm doing the right thing. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't need no confusion with anybody, but we gotta, as a people, whether you on the right or you on the left, because see, we talking about the internet. I mean, you gonna see people in real life, and you talking spicy to them on the internet, and don't nobody want to, Anton and Corey Holcomb. Come on, man. Ain't neither one of y'all brothers trying to go to jail. Ain't none of y'all trying to really fight. Who want to do that? Who wanna risk their $1 million platform that they built, or however they, I'm assuming that y'all up there in as far as getting to a bag, and I'm proud of you, brothers. We got to stop being tough with each other. First of all, as black people, all that tough talk, especially after a certain age, man, shame on you. If you still out here acting like you tough and just capping off now, yeah, if somebody, everybody got a button that you could push. So I get that. But if you just off bat, just acting tough with come on, man, just stop, just knock it off. You see the type of world we living in. People ain't. That's why I was like, when Corey was all up in Anton face, people ain't scared of none of all them wolf tickets. You know what I'm saying? Look at the world we living in right now. Ain't nobody tripping on none of that, man. You got to be for real, for real. You know what I'm saying? If you gonna move some furniture around, and Anton say, hey, we can step in the back. Come on, man, it's up. You know what I'm saying? What we talking about? Just leave me alone, bro. Let's get back to the conversation. Let's get back to the content. But yeah, man, it's your boy Jay Taylor, Voices for the Voiceless. I just wanted to come quick with my little, initial thoughts on the situation. But yeah, man, we love y'all. Peace and blessings. Until next time, we should see you soon. Peace and love.